Hello. I hope you're feeling cheery today. We're going to skip a page in our grammar workbook today, and we are going to move to page 78. Please go there now. And we're going to do exactly what we did yesterday. We're going to do one together, and then you're going to do one and check it with me, and on and on and on. The reason we're doing it this way is I want you to find out how much of this you really are understanding and how much of this is really still confusing, so that as we do a couple more, you'll get better and better at knowing what to work on. I want you to also remember that anytime we have a prepositional phrase, it is the connector piece to the tree. The preposition, if that preposition goes out of the sentence falls apart. The apple falls off the tree. You have to have it there to connect the rest of the sentence. So when you're doing them on your own, slow down. Figure out what you think the prepositional phrase is and mark it with your parentheses, and then stop and ask the question. Take out what you think is the preposition and read the sentence again and see if the sentence falls apart. Take your time and figure it out. When we do it on the video, we're going to go faster because I'm showing you how to check your work, okay? The first one we'll do a little slower so you can see what I mean by walking your way through it. Let's do the first one together here. We read the sentence first. The farmer carefully drove the old tractor from the barn to the field. Our order of analysis is phrases, clauses, principal elements, and modifiers. So we start with our phrases. Are there any prepositional phrases in this sentence? Well, I think from the barn and to the field are. But I'm going to stop here and I'm going to take a minute to double check. What if I just take out my first word, which would be my preposition, and see? The farmer carefully drove the old tractor the barn. It falls apart. So that must be a preposition. So we're correct about that one. From what? The barn. From the barn, the field. That wouldn't work. So we know that that is also a preposition because it's holding on to this noun right here, like on an apple tree. Looks like we have two apples on our apple tree here. So our next thing is to label each part. From is the preposition. Barn is the object of the preposition. From what? Barn. That's how you ask that question. Which barn? The barn. Adjective because it modifies the noun. To is the preposition. To what? Field. Object of the preposition. Which field? The field. Adjective because it modifies the noun. We start over again. The farmer carefully drove the old tractor from the barn to the field. This is a sentence and it is declarative. This sentence is about farmer. So farmer is the subject. This sentence tells us that farmer drove. So drove is the predicate. Drove is the predicate verb because it shows action. There are no linking verbs because predicate verbs do not use linking verbs. Drove what? The tractor. Direct object because it receives the action of the verb. Well, what kind of tractor? Old. Adjective, it modifies the noun. Which tractor? The. Adjective, that modifies the noun. Drove how? Carefully. Adverb, because it modifies the verb. What kind of farmer or which farmer? The farmer. Adjective, because it modifies the noun. Now we have to tell what kind of modifiers these are. Drove where? From the barn. Prepositional phrase. This is an adverbial element because it modifies the verb. We already said it was a prepositional phrase, so we're going to put prep underneath. Drove where? To the field. Prepositional phrase. It is an adverbial element because it modifies the verb. Notice that you can connect, just like with your adjectives, when you have two adjectives in a row, like up here, You can connect them on the same line like we did here with your prepositional phrases, okay? At this point, I would like for you to pause the video, click to play when you've done letter B. Go. Welcome back. Let's take a look at letter B. It has something tricky in there, so I want to make sure we look at it. Let's begin. I'm going to go quickly because you've taken your time to do it on your own and ask all the little questions along the way. Quickly, 4 mice scurried through the grass to the farm shed. Order of analysis is phrases, clauses, principal, elements, and modifier. Are there any phrases in this sentence? Yes, ma'am. Through the grass and to the farm shed. Through the grass is a prepositional phrase. To the farm shed, prepositional phrase. Through, preposition. Through what? Grass. Object of the preposition. Which grass? The grass. Adjective. To, preposition. To what? Shed. Object of the preposition. What kind of shed? Farm shed. Adjective, because it modifies the noun. Which shed? The shed. Adjective, because it modifies the noun. Quickly, 4 mice scurried through the grass to the farm shed. This is a sentence and it is declarative. This sentence is about mice, so mice is the subject. This sentence tells us that mice scurried. So scurried is the predicate. It is the predicate verb because it shows action. There are no linking verbs because predicate verbs do not use linking verbs. How many mice? 4. Adjective because it modifies the noun. Scurried. How? Quickly. Adverb because it modifies the verb. Scurried. Where? Through the grass. Prepositional phrase. It is an adverbial element. Scurried where? To the farm shed. It is a prepositional phrase and an adverbial element because it modifies the verb. Whew. Check that yours looks like mine. You can pause the video if you need to double check. Please be saying these out loud. It really helps your brain to say it out loud. Don't think you're getting the same glue and sticky stuff in your brain with this information if you just listen. So please do say it out loud. We're going to move on. You're going to do letter C all by yourself. Do that now. And welcome back. Letter C. Let's do it. I'm going to go quickly. 2 mice families live underneath the front porch. Order of analysis is phrases, clauses, principal, elements, and modifiers. Are there any phrases in this sentence? Yes, there are. Underneath the front porch is a prepositional phrase. Underneath is the preposition. Underneath what? Porch. Object of the preposition. Which porch? Front porch. Adjective, as it modifies the noun. Which porch? The porch. Adjective, because it modifies the noun. 2 mice families live underneath the front porch. This is a sentence and it is declarative. This sentence is about families. So families is the subject. This sentence tells us that families live. So live is the predicate. It is the predicate verb because it shows action. There are no linking verbs because predicate verbs do not use linking verbs. What kind of families? Mice families. Adjective because it modifies the noun. How many families? 2. Adjective because it modifies the noun. Live where? Underneath the front porch. Prepositional phrase. It is an adverbial element because it modifies the verb. You have to have both of those on there. The adverb and the prep. Okay, check that yours looks like mine. Woohoo! Look at you. You're doing it. You are doing it, and this is not easy. Look at all the marks on that page. My goodness. Shocking. Do letter D all by yourself. All right. Back with you. Let's check your letter D. Say it out loud. Please feel free to pause the video anytime you need to make your corrections and catch up with me. That's perfectly fine. Those tiny furry creatures ate all the seeds under the bird feeder. Well, that's rude. No, it's not. You put them there for them to eat. Chomp, chomp, chomp. Order of analysis is phrases, clauses, principal elements, and modifiers. Are there any prepositional phrases? Yes, ma'am. Under the bird feeder is a prepositional phrase. Under, preposition. Under what? Under bird feeder. Object of the preposition. Which bird feeder? The bird feeder. Adjective, because it modifies the noun. How many of you thought all the seeds was a prepositional phrase? If you did, I want you to take out all and see if it still works. Those tiny furry creatures ate the seeds under the bird feeder. Did your sentence fall apart? It did not fall apart. It stayed together. So that is not a preposition. But if you took out this one, it would fall apart. Those tiny furry creatures ate all the seeds, the bird feeder. So this is the preposition, and that is not. We'll figure out what that is in a minute. Let's start again at the beginning. Those tiny furry creatures ate all the seeds under the bird feeder. This is a sentence, and it is declarative. This sentence is about creatures. So creatures is the subject. This sentence tells us that creatures ate. So ate is the predicate. It is the predicate verb because it shows action. Ate what? Seeds. Direct object because it receives the action of the verb. Which seeds? These seeds. Adjective. That's hard to read. How many seeds? All seeds. Adjective because it modifies the noun. It says how many. We've got two adjectives there. Creatures. What kind of creatures? Furry creatures. So fun. It is an adjective because it modifies the noun. What kind of creatures? Tiny. Adjective modifies the noun. Which creatures? Those. Adjective modifies the noun. Ate where? Under the bird feeder. So this is a prepositional phrase and is an adverbial element because it modifies the verb. That is the masterpiece of letter D. Check that yours looks like mine. Moving down the page, you are going to do B, or you're going to do A. You're going to turn the page and do B and C and D by yourself, remembering that you are putting an underline under anything that needs a capital. You'll put 3 marks, 1, 2, 3, to show that it needs a capital letter. The punctuation at the end will either be a period with a circle around it or a question mark with a circle around it. You may do all of those and then check back in with me to correct your work. Do that now. Welcome back. Here we go. You should have a triple underline under the first letter of the sentence to start it out, and under the J of January. And there should be a question mark at the end of this sentence. Are the trees and flowers really sleeping in January? Double check yours looks like mine. Moving to the next page, 79. You should have a 3 underline capitalization edit mark for November and a period at the end of your sentence. Nothing else in there needs a capital letter. Letter C, you should have beginning of the sentence and the month of March with a period at the end of the sentence. Letter D should look like a triple underline capitalization mark under L for Lily and under the J of July with the missing period mark there. I want to draw your attention to number 3. You will complete this without me. You're going to list 9 prepositions that do not begin with the letter A. Underline those directions to make sure that you are not putting any that begin with the letter A. You can use your chant, your jingle. You can look them up on a previous page where they're listed, but don't put any that start with A because it's Friday. That's not a real reason, except that the directions said it. Have a great time doing this. I miss you, and I'm excited to get to have a weekend now, so please remember to be cheerful about the work the Lord brings because He is very good to you and loves you very much. I will see you soon.